Welcome everyone to the channel. My name is Lyndon Houston, and if you're new here, just to let you know you're welcome and I'm happy to have you. Let's get into the video. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you're new here, my name is Lyndon Houston. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a lovely, it's going to be like a banana bread pudding. So I have a loaf of bread. I'm not going to use all of this. I have some flour, butter, some sugar, some eggs, some milk, of course, a bit of cherry, some cinnamon, and I will take you through the process. So one of the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get this banana. And we're going to put it in here. We're just going to break him up. And we're going to get a fork. So your banana in a bowl. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the sugar over this. Cinnamon. I will put the recipe in the description that you can follow. Just get a fork. And the reason why I put the sugar over this, because it crushes better this way. You can either do it this way or put it into a rubber coupe and just give it a bit of blend. So next up with this, I'm going to add the egg in. So I'm working on my wet ingredients. So after you use the fork to start it off, I'm going to go in with a whisk. Okay. Next, we're going to go in with the milk. We're going to add some grated nutmeg to it. For a bit of balance and contrast, some sea salt. Very important. I'll be adding a little bit of maple syrup. That's optional. So with this, we're going to set this aside and we're going to start work on our bread. All right. I'm going to slice my bread. You can use whatever bread you want to use. Next, I'm going to spread my bread out. So this recipe is a very special recipe. It's a little bit different recipe, this one. Then we're going to get our butter. Make sure you butter your bread. Now in here, I have some cinnamon and sugar. So we're just going to gently make sure they mix properly. So just going to gently sprinkle some cinnamon and sugar over this. Next up, we're going to do like this. Next up, we're going to go across like this. So now I'm gonna bring over a wet mix. Just gonna add a little bit of vanilla in this. So next up, I'm gonna use some of the bread. Just gonna put him straight in. And we're gonna leave some of it just to put over the top. So this, I'm gonna put this over the top. Next up, I'm gonna put some raisin in this. So I'm just gonna chop them up. All this is personal preference. Next up, I'm gonna pour all the cherries in. Now I'm gonna get my whisk and I'm just gonna soften this a bit. So because we use a little bit of egg in it, I'm just gonna use a bit of zest, just to counteract, the rawness of the egg. But that's optional. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the rest of bread to this. And then I'm just gonna mix him around. Just combine it. So you have it kind of a little bit rustic. And all of this is personal preference. Next up, I have my pan, which I'm gonna put this in. It's all buttered up. So this is all personal preference. You wanna use a loaf pan, you use that, but most of this is me gonna eat it because, whosoever in my household, they don't even fool around things like this much. So that's how we're doing it. So I'm just knocking it down. Make sure all these little pockets been filled up. So next up, we have another banana, which we're gonna put on top of this. All of this is personal preference. So we're just gonna go and cut this in half. So next, we're gonna put our banana down. So we're just gonna put one like this and the other one like so. Next up, just gonna get some cherries, a bit of cherries. Just prick around the edge over it. All this is personal preference. Next up is I'm gonna put some cinnamon sugar. So this is just basically cinnamon and sugar. Just gonna go over it. So on the top like so. So I'm gonna put this in the oven on about 150 until cooked. So our banana bread pudding is out the oven. That's what it looked like. So now, just gonna let it cool down before I cut straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, if this video of any help to you guys, please remember to like, share, subscribe, do leave positive comment.